What makes this part of rural Oregon special is, of course, the fact that it is where the forest meets the sea.
The Alsea Bay is where I go to just let everything get washed away.
This is a geographically isolated but wholly abundant and rich place. So the reality is that we live in a small village, and that as much as the local support means a great deal to us and contributes to our bottom line, we do depend on visitors and the revenue that comes with them.
You know, you have to get people to come, because once they're here, I think they fall in love with the place. People they feel like they've discovered something really wonderful here.
The challenges of this area, like many rural areas, are the economy and the shift from resource extraction economy to something that's sustainable for the future.
I think it's challenging and scary to ask a community who their elders were successful in these areas and those are no longer viable for the youth. And so that's kind of where we're at right now, is that transition point.
I think tourism has always been here to some extent. It's more accessible now. People might have come here and had no idea. You know, they sit in their motel room and they look at the ocean and that's fun, but then what? And maybe they do a little shopping, but then what? And there's a whole lot to do around here.
Part of the rural tourism process was to identify our local assets. The two specific projects that we focused on was the Oregon Coast Gravel Epic, which was a brand new event. And the other big project was the Hike, Bike, Paddle Map, which was all the non-motorized trails of South Lincoln County.
When we started working on the map, we already had a large number of trails. But what we didn't have was a place where all these trails were pulled together. And so developing the map did that. We were able to identify people from many different agencies and experiences to contribute to it. We had people who knew the cycling side of it. We knew the water trail side of it. We invited them, we listened to them, and were able to put together something that reflected a rich source of information.
We get a lot of people who come in, maybe they don't want to kayak, but they want to hike or bike. And it's been challenging in the past to say, well, let me get a piece of paper and you can give them directions to all these different places. Now we just pull out one product and open it up, and we can highlight based on their needs and our knowledge of those trails.
You're in an absolutely beautiful area, nice little community here. Really appreciate their support, and the course is going to be a blast.
My name's Steve Cash. We're in Waldport, Oregon, and this is the Oregon Coast Gravel Epic. The inaugural Oregon Coast Gravel Epic was in 2013. We had about 75 participants. There were two courses, a 76-mile long course we called the Abomination, and a 35-mile short course we called the Son of Abomination. You're not coming for an easy event, you're coming for a challenging event. Our discussions with the city and the business community were, what can we do working with you to put on a very good cycling event that'll draw people to Waldport, and we'll want them to come back, and will give us a venue to put on a challenging gravel-based cycling event. Cycling events in the coastal range are just one more use of great roads that are there. Nature was a wonderful partner. The old growth forest, the scenery, the steep climbs up into the woods and looking back over your shoulder and seeing the ocean.
From surveys that we did after the races, that about 75% stayed in the area, and so that involves, hotels, restaurants, all the rest.
The second year it grew by 100%, and it's going to continue to grow. And I think what we're going to have is something that's going to be a nationally recognized, unique event on the Oregon coast. We're building events for cyclists, but we're building events that cyclists see communities that they want to come back to.
I think nature-based tourism was really important for this area because that's what we've got.
The lasting impact of the Rural Tourism Studio is that in addition to the fact that we produced a product, it raised an awareness of the importance of making visible the attractions of the area.
My advice to any community that's thinking about doing this would be to go through the visioning process with your hearts open. I think you'd be surprised at what'll come out of it.